order at 12:30 p.m. Please stand for the pledge. We'll be continuing on to roll call. President Fish.
Here.
Vice President Pellegrino. Here. Treasurer Wu.
Here.
Secretary Wadsworth.
Here.
Director of Community Outreach is excused. Chief Justice Tabor.
Here.
Director of PR.
Here.
Senator DeHaab. Senator Rogers. Senator Self.
Here.
Senator Fees. Senator Dargio. Senator Rosamilia. Senator Merquet. Our advisor. CFB will be here. Wildcat Media. The Factory Times. Not here. Web. Wildcat Esports. SAC is not here. And Res Life is not here. Approval of minutes of September 22nd, 2022. Do we have any discussion for these minutes? Senator Fees.
I just have a quick question regarding swear-ins. If you scroll all the way down, Logan Self is labeled as a junior and not as a third year. Would that fall under house rules, or is that something we should look at changing, or does that not really matter? I yield to anybody who wants to answer that.
It would follow under house rules, so perfectly fine. Do we have any other discussion for the minutes? Seeing none with that, we'll be going on to voting. All those in favor of passing these minutes? All those who oppose? And all those who abstain? With that, these minutes pass 7-0-0. Concluding with that, we'll be going on to exec reports. Our president.
Congratulations to all of the new senators. After we adjourn from today's meeting, just stick around, senators. If anybody else wants to stick around, that's great. We're gonna hold like a small mock Senate meeting. I yield.
On to our VP report. So, hi all. I hope you're doing well. As Jay mentioned, really my report's just regarding the newer senators. And firstly, I'd like to congratulate those who are new and returning. We're happy to see you back or see the new faces, and we're happy to hear how you represent your fellow students. So. For senators who have yet to know, obviously Jay said it, but we're holding a mock bill/resolution session as for you to get comfortable with the formality. And senators and e-board, just stay for that. The rest, you can, but you're not needed to. And aside from that, senators who have yet to complete your committee interest form, please follow up with that, as I have sent a follow-up at 12, so just get that to me before Tuesday. And I yield on to the treasurer.
Hello. I met with Auxiliary Services earlier this week to discuss over a few things and figure out the budget and reserve amount. I'll be working closely together with the other exec boards to discuss what projects is necessary to fund. Stipend members, please let me know if you want your stipends to be direct deposits, as there will be a form for you to fill out. As it is midterms week, good luck on your future midterm exams and have fun on your mid-semester break. Good luck and stay safe. I yield.
On to our secretary report.
Hi everyone. So I don't have much to report this week. I just wanted to let everybody know we had a lot of swear-ins last week, but I just wanted to remind everybody that if there's any questions about bills, resolutions, or any questions regarding those, you can always reach out to me. So I yield.
On to our Chief Justice report.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Since the Chief Justice report has officially been added to the list of reports, I felt that I would take the opportunity to actually write one. I'd like to welcome all the new senators and all the returning senators back. I'm very excited to see a healthy-looking Senate. I have taken the challenge of reading through all of our policies and procedures, and yeah, that's a lot. But, you know, we're getting through it. I've also had conversations with the president and vice president in regards to their expectations for me, and I'm very excited with everything there. And for those going home for break, safe travels, and for those staying here, continue having a good campus experience. I yield.
On to our Director of PR report.
No report, but I do hope you all have a fantastic break that's coming up.
And our Director of Community Outreach is not here. our college council.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to say I'm excited for the opportunity to represent the student government and students to faculty at the college council meetings. I'm just happy for the opportunity, so thank you. I yield.
And finally, our advisor report.
Report.
Continuing on from there, committees are not yet active, so we'll be skipping those reports. On to org reports. Webb.
Hello, everyone. Well, first, I'd like to give a warm welcome to all the new faces on the Horseshoe. Glad to see you all here and looking forward to getting to know you all. For Webb's just a short report, just a quick reminder to everybody, if you don't have mid-semester break plans or you're planning on not leaving too early, Webb will be having a few events Friday for a send-off for everyone. There will be a VR event with virtual reality games that will be team-based, going on for 5 hours, 1:30 to 6:30 p.m. in the Campus Center gym, as well as a live comedy show in the Student Center NPR at 8 p.m. on Friday night. So hopefully we'll see as many faces there as will be around still when Friday rolls around. Hope everybody has a great break. Thank you.
CFP is not here yet. Wildcat Media.
Yeah, I'd like to give a warm welcome to all our new senators. Just a few quick things about the microphones. Say, don't bend them, don't break them, don't eat them. Normal stuff about using a microphone properly. And like to welcome Rachel, who has been helping at our live events, and has been helping Nick over at the soundboard.
And then the factory times, if you have. All right. Wildcat Esports.
Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome the new senators. It's nice to see a full Horseshoe. As far as my report, tomorrow we have our Beyond Reality VR event at 1:30 p.m. inside the Campus Center gym. Join us and Webb for this new and fun event. The last couple of days, we have been announcing news regarding FragFest. As a reminder, FragFest will be on November 4th through November 6th, 2 p.m. start time, 2 p.m. end time. This semester's FragFest will bring nostalgia to returning students and excitement to new students. I am pleased to announce our main tournaments for FragFest Fall 2022. Mortal Kombat 11, Splatoon 3, Overwatch 2, Rocket League 2v2, Wii Bowling, Smash Ultimate, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Modern Warfare 2, CSGO Wingman, and Minecraft Free For All Hunger Games Edition. The official FragFest schedule and prize list will be revealed tomorrow. Lastly, we are proud to announce that FragFest Fall 2022 will be sponsored by MSI. I would like to take the time to formally thank Christine Fan for working with us and making this possible. More sponsors will be announced in the coming days. Thank you. I yield.
And seeing as with that, we have no old business or new business. Going on to open forum. Do we have anything for open forum? Our president.
I did forget to mention, just as another reminder, Saturday, so next Saturday on the 15th, we do have Professional Development Day from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. I yield.
And our audience member.
So I'm bringing up two student concerns, a safeties and facilities one, and then I'm also bringing up an academic affairs one. So for safeties and facilities, I drive out of the student center parking lot every day at 6 o'clock pretty much. And every time I drive out, I almost get hit without fail. The student center parking lot, I don't know, I feel like every time I drive out, I feel very unsafe given its layout. Is there anything that we as students can do to make that parking lot a little more organized so I don't have to, like, pray that I don't get hit?
Our president.
I could reach out to Matt Putnam and ask. My initial thought, and I don't know, but my initial thought would maybe be putting in like speed bumps or something. But again, I'll ask Matt Putnam.
This thing that I found, I have to wait to be.
No, I yield the
Okay,
floor.
thank you. The biggest thing that I found is not necessarily, well, it's speed for sure, but just people not, like, I guess, yielding as they're pulling out, it's difficult to see, especially coming out of like that front parking lot. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that first parking lot in the student center, it's really difficult to see past the cars without literally like getting into the road, and then people have to like swerve around you. So I feel like every time I'm pulling out, especially if I'm parked in like those last few spots before there, like I'm just gonna get hit. So that's, I guess, is my main concern. I'm not sure what we can do. I'm not an expert in safety and traffic laws, but I just don't want the front of my car to get taken out. So.
Senator Sell.
I've almost had the same run-ins as well. I think what probably would have to happen would, if we take out the last parking spots on the middle row, would probably be best. Take out those just the 2 spots there, like how in the front row, closest to the SC building, how we have the little grass areas right there. Probably something similar to that, so people can still see around those corners. That'd probably be the easiest. Well, not easiest fix, but probably one of the ideas that could get tossed around once safety and facilities is started up, if they are going to be having this issue still. I yield.
Our audience member.
So this is for the academic affairs one that I'm bringing up. So I have heard overwhelming, like, just questions to me about whether or not pass-fail will return for older students, and if it can return at all. While I was running, that was the main concern from them. Are you bringing back pass-fail? I am one of those students that would like to see that back. Is that at any way at all possible to fight for that? I know that we talked about not bringing it back, but that's something that I've heard overwhelming positive support for. I yield.
Our president.
Yeah, so I know that was specifically for like COVID and in an emergency situation. I don't think they plan on bringing it back. I know there were talks at bringing some form of it back. I haven't been able to make a Senate faculty or a faculty Senate meeting in a while, but I can definitely ask the chair if that's still in discussion.
Thank you. That's all I have as an audience member.
Wildcat Esports.
I could go first. I yield.
I think you have to understand why you want it to go back before you go. So Academic Affairs Committee would be the best to probably research, like, what's the basis for it, because you're going to hear is that it's actually not effective. You may think it is because it's an out when you're not doing, sort of well, but I think statistically getting some research, understanding what about pass-fail are you advocating for versus a number of students who have relied on that maybe so far as a point that isn't making academic progress successfully, and that is the sort of thing that we want to make sure students are doing, and pass-fail is not going to help a student to academically progress successfully. And so I do think it was used, again, obviously it was very much about COVID, but just some questions I think that going back and asking and why, besides the opportunity for just not having to get the credit, right? But I think you have to understand from the registrar perspective how many students really actually are at risk right now for that not being a solid option when it comes to academic success, and then thinking more programmatically about how do we help students with tutoring and academic success to do better with the grades and to not have to rely on something like that. But again, I think asking some better questions of constituents and then bringing that forward would help that conversation.
Wildcat Media.
I'd say it'd be nice if it was back in some capacity. Say, as an example, last semester I was out sick for 3 weeks. It'd be nice if there was an option for a pass-fail in those circumstances, but I can understand not bringing it back blanket cover for everybody. If someone misses almost a fourth of the semester out sick, it'd be nice if there was something in place.
Our audience member.
This is going off topic from this, but I do know, bringing up about safety and facilities, I don't know if anyone's gone, I can't remember the name of the road, please, if someone knows it, please just shout it out at me. Going up towards the Mohawk and Hilltop residence, the road in between there, if you're leaving the campus to turn right on this right lane here, there's a really bad section where it like hits your bump and then it drops again. I do know that when it comes to that, it will possibly wreck the plow's trim there. So I wonder if safety and facilities, or if they can see about if they can fix that before winter hits. Because even if a car hits that and there's ice built up and the plow hasn't hit it, a car may lose slight control going around there. I yield.
I don't go up there, so I'll definitely take a drive up there, and maybe you can bring me to that spot so we can check it out. But I'll definitely bring that up as well.
Walk at East Springs.
Sorry, it's just so much back and forth. The first thing is the pass and fail. There we go. First thing is the pass and fail. I do agree that it should come back, but in the emergency capacity of, like, you know, you're out, you end up in the hospital or whatever, and you miss like a good month of school. That's like an emergency circumstances. So I do agree there should be some capacity of pass fail coming up. I'm just speaking as a student at this point. But I do agree about that. The second thing is I do have a slight concern about the fact that these meetings are becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. It's not even 1 o'clock yet. I know a big part of it is because of the election. But I am concerned the fact that we're not getting much stuff done during those meetings. I yield to our Chief Justice.
To that point, I believe committees are just about to start up, and that's kind of when the bulk of the legislation will go through. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion? Chief Justice.
I have a question to our advisor. Are there not things in place for medical situations? Like, would you be able to just elaborate a little bit on that? Because I understand the concern. I think I'm actually against pass fail, personally. I think that for COVID it's great, but to use it and to rely on it as almost like a crutch to just pass fail and get through your classes, it's not going to help you academically. But what you're talking about is having something in place in case of circumstances that are outside of your control, which I believe there are things in place. If you could just elaborate on that just a little bit. I yield to our advisor.
There's a couple of different routes that you can go, and everyone's situation is case by case. So speaking in sort of vague terms, you have the Student Accessibilities Center, right? They're not just for ongoing, they're temporary. There can be temporary reasons why you would need temporary accommodations or adjustments in a classroom setting. So you could break your leg, you could be out sick for 3 or 4 weeks, and that office would help you with the temporary accommodations that you are and adjustments that you are granted and need to have. That might result in incompletes, that might result in some sort of accommodation adjustment to, and the whole vein is to not jeopardize the content or to give you less than for that class requirement, right? It's not to adjust the academic requirements, but to adjust the way that the academic is learned or is assessed. So that's one way. There is medical withdrawal also as an option. There's a very formal process for that that can occur as well, that sort of has the same sort of lens. It can have some financial opportunities in there as well, those sort of situations. So there are different ways of which are both formal and I would say informal processes when there are illnesses that are short term or maybe turn into long term, or other reasons why outside of a pass fail you could get some support and assistance here on campus.
Our audience member.
Speaking of the pass fail, not the pass fail, but the medical withdrawal is one of the issues that I had personally with that is it requires a treatment plan, which I didn't get a diagnosis until May. So when I missed 3 weeks in February, there was no way for me to do a medical withdrawal because I didn't have a diagnosis and a path of treatment. So the medical withdrawal form was not going to work.
Our advisor.
this point, maybe next week a speaker that could come in. I can recommend one or two of our campus professionals who oversee those processes, who could come in and talk about this. Again, I think, Jay, we can work with them to sort of set them up for what the questions were about, so their presentation is about that, and or maybe inviting some academic affairs staff to come in and talk about a couple of things around some statistics around pass-fail and what are other options or what are other things, and so the conversation can continue with some education and then some more dialogue after that.
So just on the Wildcat Esports concern about the meetings are smaller, I did just remember that we will start once everybody's trained. We'll start looking through the policies again. I have some bills and stuff like that written that I wrote over the summer. I did talk to the advisor yesterday, and we might start bringing in a guest speaker every day. And it's a different professional from the school, so maybe one day it's the provost, maybe the next day it's the president, and hopefully that'll increase not only the availability of those professionals to SGU, but also to the rest of the school. And then you kind of also know who you need to talk to when you're representing your students.
Do we have anything else? Wildcat Esports.
Are in the process of updating our constitution and policies and procedures. I am hoping to get that resolution, passed before Halloween. So if anybody has any concerns or recommendations regarding Wildcat Esports as a whole, please let me know. I yield.
And just for your information, it is going to be a bill because it does regard your documents. So it would be a bill, not a resolution. But aside from that, does anyone have anything else? Web.
Just as a question towards this SU execs, I would believe, as like through COVID, we had the majority of the campus online with classes online, but that's still a phenomenon that exists to this day. Probably will for quite a bit of time going forward. It is important that we still reach out to those students and have resources available for them to be involved. I'm just wondering if we still have resources from back when COVID was a larger concern available to clubs, orgs, and other people to use for, say, like events or meetings regarding student involvement to make it more accessible to online students, like microphone equipment or anything that would help with that, since we at Web already have remote members, and it would be very helpful for regular meetings. Yield the president.
Yeah. So SGU still has the cameras that we loaned out, and then the headsets that go with those cameras if the camera doesn't have a mic for some reason. You would go to our office manager, which is currently Bailey, if that individual wanted to. And we have been trying to look into more online events. So when I went to the SUNY SA conference, I did talk to a school that was heavily online. And she mentioned that the two biggest events were like online bingo and like the free money game shows and stuff like that were online. Those were like the biggest hits that they could easily do online. Yep.
All right, Ms. Member.
Picky, because I like to nitpick. Oh, a few weeks ago, I was, after an SGU meeting, walking back to my dorm. One of our professors was smoking, which I don't have a problem with. Then they threw the cigarette butt into the storm drains. Could we, maybe inform our professors that that's not where cigarette butts go? If possible.
Senator Hahn. Oh, that's yours. Sorry. Our president.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I could reach out to the provost to and see if we can try to get a meeting, because I still have to contact the provost and see and follow up with the other concerns with the capstone projects. I promise I'm working on that. I'll yield to Webb.
Just as a comment towards
guess the speaker's opinion on that. That would be probably less something towards just professors, but towards all people on campus, as to be on campus unless you happen to be 17. More than likely, you're going to be able to access that type of, substances, and are more than likely not going to be questioned if you're of legal age for it. So it should be something that's like a campus-wide rules, and maybe that should be something that's just brought more aware of across the board on campus. I yield.
Wildcat Esports.
I yield. I forgot. I might raise my hand again.
Our secretary.
Okay, so just a quick reminder, the blood drive is October 12th. There are still plenty of slots available to sign up to donate blood. If you're interested, if you're new and you're wanting to, you can either sign up online or shoot me an email, and I would love to help you sign up. We are also asking for volunteers, so if you're interested in becoming an American Red Cross blood drive volunteer, we are looking for people still. We are very short volunteers from 1 to 4 that day, so if you're free and looking to help, just again, shoot me an email and I'll get you all signed up and let you know what you're doing. Awesome. Thank you guys. Yield.
Wildcat Esports.
I apologize. We have no problems serving completely remote students. I believe as of right now we have 2 remote players. I believe one for our League of Legends team, one for our Rainbow Six. My only, because when it gets blurry when it comes to Wildcat Esports, is are there a remote student from Utica or are there a remote student from Albany? Because Albany campus, as you know, does a completely different student activities theme, and technically we're not supposed to cater towards Albany students, but that has been a problem and gray area since we've been founded. So again, if anybody usually we conduct some type of online events ever since our foundation. So it'll be very easy to cater to the online population. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion? Wildcat Media.
Sorry. Senator Self, are we going to get a quote?
While we wait for that, do we have any further discussion? Senator Self.
I had one up and it went. I refreshed my browser and I lost it. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence, from Helen Keller. I had one earlier for SGU related, and then I left my browser because I went to look for Google Maps and I got suspended from Google Maps for some reason. I yield.
Wildcat Esports.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Fees. Going on to voting. All those in favor of adjournment? All those who oppose? And all those who abstain? With that, adjournment has passed 7-0-0. Well, in this situation, we still adjourned, so.
I entertain a motion to go back into the business meeting.
Do we have a second? So moved by Senator Fees. Do we have a second? Second by Senator Rogers. Going on to voting. All those in favor of going back onto business? All those who oppose? And all those who abstain? With that, it passes 6-1-0. Going back onto where we were, open forum. And if anyone has anything for open forum, CFB.
I'm gonna pretend I'm a student. All right, I'm a student now. That's as close as I'm gonna get to the microphone. 2 things. I forgot to bring this up last time. So, it's a small nitpick, but I think it should at least be addressed. So in Donovan, it's like on the first floor. It's not ground floor, like first floor. One of the things I noticed is that if you walk in on one of the doors on the right side, there's a couple of like wooden boxes. I believe at one point they served as suggestion boxes, but they have things like Snowflake and URSA and stuff like that. And like I think too they also had like factory times, but like I would really like to see them possibly get taken down because they're suggestion boxes that clearly haven't been used in years, and the fact that they're so old that they have things like URSA on it and stuff like that, I'm like, it would be very nice to get them removed.
Chief Justice.
I know exactly about what boxes you're talking about, and I would actually make an argument to not take them down, but to retrofit them and to find a new purpose for them, opposed to taking them down. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion? CFB.
I mean, however we want to do it. I mean, however we want to go about it. If you want to take them down, or if you want to retrofit them, give them an update, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just would like to see something be done about them. That's mostly it. I think that, yeah, it's just been it's a weird thing. It's obviously been there for a long time, and it's only gotten dust and trash inside of it. So, something just to think about if possible. So.
All right. Do we have any further discussion? Senator Self.
I'm going to ask it because I know someone's probably got it on their mind as well. President, why did you want us to go back into this? I was curious. I yield to the president.
I'm waiting on swearings.
CFB.
For Jay, he said he'd be here in 5 minutes. I assume something happened. Second thing, this is something I forgot to bring up last time, but this was another thing about like kind of just going through campus and like a little bit updating stuff. So I think it was like this week I was putting up posters for Web and CFB for their events, and one of the things I noticed was like there are like every once in a while I'll find a poster back from like 2018 through 2017, just like old posters, old documents and stuff like that are still posted up on bulletin boards that, while yes, I mean, I know that they're old and outdated, I would really like to potentially look into trying to do almost a clean wipe of a lot of boards on campus. I know that like things like in the student center, I believe it was done in the student center, but everywhere else, like including Donovan and Kinsella, there are still every once in a while I will find like old posters and stuff like that still put up. And I think even though some of this still applies to like the different departments for like sometimes like some of the engineering and some of the other departments that you could find here, they do have I would consider to be kind of like old documents, and not that it's an issue of them being up, but it's just I don't know if they're still relevant. Are they still a thing? Is that something that's still happening, or is that something that is long gone and out of date? Would be kind of again look into that. I know it's probably going to be a lot of work, unfortunately, because it's not just something that you could just run around and start taking down posters. There's probably going to be some repercussions, but I think generally doing a nice like clean over of everything would be something I would like to see.
Chief Justice Daber.
CFB, we're sharing a brain today because I was actually thinking about the same exact thing. And I feel like I can only speak on behalf of, student government and student-driven posters. But the idea of just sending out like, hey, this day we're tearing everything down off the boards and we're starting fresh, and kind of like making it like an event, like a fun little thing. I think would be really, really, and now I'm not just speaking to CFB, to everybody. I think starting fresh with all of these boards should be something that happens every semester, because there are some relics that of posters that I put up from a year ago that I specifically know in Kinsella. But But yeah, I yield.
President.
So that's going to be a policy change. We talked about that. So hopefully that'll come probably next Thursday, where it's probably going to be within the week after the event. They have to be taken down by the person who put them up. And I'll yield to our advisor after this, but would we have to go through the Center for Student Involvement office to take down posters that, I don't know how that process works. I'll yield to our advisor.
That's doing that, right? So until I can have different staffing structure in my office, that's an ideal thing to have someone do every day is they would go around, could drop off posters at our office and we'd go put them up. But I don't have the funding for individuals to work in there doing that. If someone wants a work study job, please come see us. But we've put some ads out for work study and it's just not getting anyone's attention. Every board, to my knowledge, now that's not every board, most boards have a label on them. So I think we would only be able to touch the boards of which are labeled, including the two that are sort of anything goes kind of board, right? We can clean those ones up. We'd have to talk to the academic departments just to say, hey, it'd be great if you clean your board up, but we really shouldn't touch those ones. But you could touch the ones that are sort of labeled for student clubs and organizations. I think it's great that the people who put it up take it down. It's just a better system and process. But ideally, if there was somebody who wanted a work study job to get paid to go do that, we would love to have that out of our office. We just don't fundamentally right now have that person. So there you go.
Our president.
Thank you for that. And then one other thing about posters real quick. If you're within the organization and you want to put up a poster, there is an SGU poster policy that you have to follow, so just make sure you're following that. That includes clubs, that includes any event that might be going on that is SGU funded. And then if you're just a student, there's also a school policy that you have to follow. So just make sure that you're looking at what the school policy is that you know.
Do we have any further discussion for open forum? Seeing as with that, we'll be continuing on to swear-ins. For those of you who are getting sworn in today, please step into the center of the horseshoe. And our president will give the oath. Concluding with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? So moved by Wildcat Esports. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Fees. Going on to voting. All those in favor of adjournment? All those who oppose? And all those who abstain. With that, that passes 7-0-0. Like stated in my report for senators, please stay. No, just so Wildcat Media can set everything up, or put everything back. Set everything.